Hello children, welcome back to the digital class. So today we shall continue with Industrialization and Social Change Part 3. Do you remember what we have discussed in Part 1 and Part 2? Okay, let's have a quick recapitulation of what we have learnt in Part 2. We have discussed about how coal and iron are extracted, the importance of iron and steel industries, differences between wrought iron and cast iron, the power of steam engine, various means of transportation, and the technological changes in the textile industry. So today let's see the learning outcomes of this chapter, that is Part 3. By the end of the chapter, you will be able to analyze the competition between the factory owners, describe about the technological changes which change the lives of individuals, try to know about the workers and their working conditions in the factories, emphasize industrialization in Germany and France, know about the inventions of KRUPP family, and explain about rapid industrialization in Germany. So shall we begin the session now? Right. So first we will discuss about the competition. So let me ask you a few questions. What is the competition for? Between whom is the competition? What does it lead to? Technology or unemployment? Who is benefited? Capitalist or worker? So to answer all these questions, we need to go in detail of the topic. So let's see competition first. So as we know that Industrial Revolution has changed the industries a lot, right? New technologies have been introduced in the machinery. So factories which were set up using machines, they were set up using machines which were worked by laborers who were hired by the factory owners. So before industrialization, workers were doing lot of work, but after industrialization, because of new technology, machines have replaced the workers, right? And how did the factory owners get the workers from? They used to hire the workers. Hire means they had to go for contract. They had to bring the workers from different places, right? But now because of industrialization, that is setting up of machines, and it is only one-time investment, yes? So this has replaced the workers, okay? And the raw materials such as cotton, which was bought from distant places and sold their produce to distant markets. Through this process, they earn profits. So in Part 2, we have discussed that Britain was not having cotton, right? It was not able to produce cotton. So it had to import cotton from India. Cotton cloth was imported from India. But after industrialization, after the technologies have developed, transportation has been reduced, then it was able to import the raw cotton and made its own products, okay? So now it got the benefits, it got the profits. How? Raw cotton was imported from India and many other places, and the produce, the finished products are being exported to other countries. So as it is exported, they got the profits, okay? Did you understand? Now, how do they compete with each other? Now we know that there are many factories and many factory owners. So how did they compete with each other? They need to compete with their products, and everyone, they try for getting maximum profits. Since there are many factory owners, each of them tries to sell maximum to earn maximum profits. To attract more customers, they try to sell the produce cheaper than others. See, present situation, we have lot of publicity, and we see through media or to TV channels through advertisements. Yes, now present producers are competing with each other through advertisements to increase their sales. But during those, there was not much publicity was not given. So how did they compete? What did they do to compete or to face a competition with other factory owners? The only thing they could do is reduce the prices. Okay, they have to reduce the prices to face the competition. What do they do to reduce prices? In order to keep the price low, they cut cost by rationally using all the raw materials, machines and workers, and also by using new technologies. New machines enables the factory owners to produce more by employing few workers. So if you see on the screen, you can see the factory here, right? So here, what was the thing they have done to reduce the price? So to reduce the price, they have to see their benefits also, isn't it? So to reduce the cost, first they have to rationally balance the raw materials, cost of raw materials, workers and machines. So how did they reduce? See, they have to replace workers with machines, and machines produce more goods than workers, and it also saves lot of time, isn't it? So they have invented or introduced more machinery and removed the workers. Okay, did you understand? So they have cut down the workers. With this, the cost of workers has reduced, right? So they could sell the products at cheaper price. Okay, so this is a thing which they had done for facing the competition. Then what is the result of new technology? Was the new technology benefited for the people or no? See, technological development in the society has taken place because of new technology. Development is must. Yes, it has taken place through new technology. But on the other hand, it led to unemployment and also it led to overproduction. So let's learn in detail how it happened. Okay, the new technology has changed the lives of the people. But how did it change? Who was benefited and who was under loss? Capitalists. Who are capitalists? Who invest the capital in the factories or industries to earn profits. Okay, or you can say wealthy people, who are rich people who can invest on the machinery or the factories. Were they benefited or no? Then workers. Workers who work in the factory, are they benefited or not? Then rich people. Rich people, how much benefit did they get from the new technology? So let's see in detail now. You can see the picture here. So these are the rich individuals or the factory owners. Rich individuals started investing money in industries to multiply their wealth. So what did capitalists do? What do? They invest money in the factories. Okay. So why are they investing the money? Because to get profits. And most of the capitalists or industrialists, they did get the wealth, or they have increased they have multiplied their wealth. Okay. Then what about the workers? See, as the factories were being set up, now it has become city, right? From village it has changed into cities or urban areas. And here what happened is people were migrating. They were migrating from different places. They were immigrated to London or England. So because of employment opportunities in the factories. So because of the increase of population, what happens now? Overcrowded. When the people are overcrowded, where would they stay? There were no housing, no clean water, no sanitation facilities. Right? As you see in the present situation also, we have slum areas. Yes, you can see slum areas in Mumbai and many other metropolitan cities. So why it is increasing? The slum areas are increasing because of overcrowdedness. Yes, because they are migrating from different places in search of jobs, and they do not come under municipality. So authorities do not take any interest in them. So because of this, what happens? Overcrowdedness, people do not get proper place to live. So conditions of living conditions become horrible for these people, isn't it? You can see in the image here. See, these are the workers and they are living in the slum areas. But what about the rich people? The rich people shifted their homes to the suburbs where the air was clean and the water was safe to drink. So rich people could benefit from it because they have shifted their homes to suburbs. Suburbs are, the air is very fresh, clean, and there is safe drinking water. So can you tell me who has benefited due to technology? Yes, it is capitalist and the rich people. Then what about the workers? Did they benefit? No, because they started living in slums. See, this is the image of 18th century where the people were living on the streets without any proper house. So no house, no sanitation, and no clean drinking water. So because of this, what happens? They are affected to, they are prone to diseases, right? You can see the picture here. This is the living condition of the people in the slum areas. So now a survey has been done to know the lifespan of the people who are living in urban areas or the cities. Children, can you imagine which areas would be better, rural areas or urban areas? See, rural areas are having fresh air, a clean atmosphere, there is no pollution, isn't it? But whereas urban areas, because of the industries, pollution started increasing. Yes, what type of pollution? Air pollution and water pollution, even sound pollution also, right? So because of industrialization, what happened to the lifespan of the people living in those areas? Yes, it has decreased. The lifespan of people started decreasing. We can see here, the lifespan was 15 years in Birmingham. That means people were living up to 15 years only. At a very young age they were dying. 17 years in Manchester and 21 years in Derby. Okay. So what are the reasons for increase in the deaths? As I told you, because of pollution. What type of pollution? Air pollution and water pollution. Children failed to survive beyond the age of 5. Deaths were caused by epidemics. Epidemics means diseases like cholera, typhoid, which are spreading because of water pollution, and tuberculosis that spreads due to air pollution. More than 31,000 people died from an outbreak of cholera in 1832 CE. So deaths were increasing more in urban areas, that is in the cities, because of industries. Yes, as I told you, the disease started spreading. What kind of diseases? Cholera and typhoid and tuberculosis, which was spreading due to water pollution and air pollution. And as I told you, they are just occupied. So municipal authorities did not take any interest in these slum areas. Okay. So people started dying. Then what about women, children and industrialization? So here in rural areas, the kind of work is different, the kind of living is different compared to urban areas. So in rural areas, children in rural areas usually worked at home or in the farm under the watchful eye of parents or relatives. So people used to work before also. Both women, children both of them were working in rural areas also. But what kind of work were they doing? They were looking after the farms, they were looking after the livestock, and also they used to stay in the houses, right? Children who were working in the fields were taking care of the parents or relatives. They were under the watchful eye of the parents and relatives. Then what about women? Did they work earlier? Yes, they also worked in the farms. They also worked as they used to take care of livestock. What is livestock? Like cattle, like sheep, goat, etc. Then they used to get the firewood from the forest, and also they did spinning. Spinning is done at homes. So same work was done even in rural areas also. But when they were shifted to urbans or when they were shifted to industries, were the conditions same? Was it a boon for women and children, or was it a bane? Let's see. Conditions of women and children in factories. So, they used to work in factories. They had to work for long hours without break. You can see the image here. And the same kind of work is done under strict discipline and sharp forms of punishments. So, in rural areas, same kind of work is done with a lot of freedom. Yes, they can do whenever they want, but here in factories, they were supervised and controlled by the factory owners, right? So, they had to work for long hours, and also strict discipline was there, and punishments were also given to these people. So, what do you think? Is it a boon for them? And why did they start working in factories? Because the wages which were given to men were not sufficient. So that's why even women and children had to work in the factories. Okay. So let's see the conditions. You can see the picture here. Child labor. Children are working in the factories. Women and children were employed in large numbers in the cotton textile industry in Lancashire and Yorkshire. If you see the image, you can see here small children are working in the factories. Such a horrible condition it is, isn't it? And where were they working? Where were the cotton textile industries set up? In Yorkshire. These are the Yorkshire places, is it north, east, west and south, and Lancashire. In these places, cotton textile industries were set up where women and children were working. Women were main workers in silk, lace making, knitting industries and metal industries in Birmingham. We can see the pictures here. Where did they work? Silk, this is silk, lace making, knitting, and they worked in the metal industries. Machinery like the cotton spinning jenny was designed to be used by child workers and with their small fingers and bodies. The spinning jenny was invented in 1764 by James Hargreaves, a cotton weaver from Oswald's and Lancashire. So this is a machine. This is a spinning jenny. And why was it invented? Who invented this? James Hargreaves. So why did he invent this machine? So that small children can do the work on this machine easily, right? The small children, their fingers are very small, the bodies are very small, isn't it? So for their convenience, he had invented spinning jenny. Why were children employed in factories? Can you tell me why children were employed in factories? What could be the benefit for these factory owners? See, look at this image. This is a factory and you can see small children working here, right? Children worked in textile factories because they were small enough to move between tightly packed machines. So if you look at any factories, how are the machines? They are very closely packed, right? So elderly people or adults cannot move through those passages easily, whereas small children they could easily go through these passages. So that's why they have employed small children in the factories. But isn't it a horrible condition for the children? At the age of playing, they are working in the factories. Can you imagine? And the conditions were very horrible. What were the problems in factories? Long hours of work, including cleaning the machines on Sundays. No fresh air or exercise were allowed. See children, generally the growth of the children takes place at the very young age. And at this age, these children were working in the factories. And they had to work for a long hours without any break. And they did not get any proper ventilation also. No fresh air, no exercises, nothing. So think about the growth. That's why children used to die at a very young age. Children sometimes caught their hair in machines or crushed their hands. Some even died when they fell into machines as they dropped off to sleep from exhaustion. So children, small children, they generally go to sleep after tiredness, isn't it? But here, after working for long hours also, they were not given a small break and no proper food, no proper ventilation. And sometimes what happened, their small fingers or hairs, it used to go inside the machines. And they even their hands would have cut off in the machines. Such a horrible situation, isn't it? And sometimes they even died because of exhaustion, because they used to sleep while working in the machines. So such a painful situation it was for them. And not only that, not only in the factories, children were made to work in coal mines. Have you ever imagined to work in coal mines? No, because it is a dangerous place, right? And here, since the demand for coal and iron has increased, they need more workers to go dug the mines more deeper, right? So why children were employed in the coal mines? Coal mines were also dangerous place to work in. Roofs caved in, or there could be an explosion, and injuries were common. So you can see the picture, small children are working in the coal mines. So why did they work? Why did they choose children in coal mines? The owners of coal mines used children to reach deep coal faces where the path was too narrow for adults. See, look at their age, such a small, tiny children, they are working in coal mines. So why did they choose them? We have seen that in factories, to move into the passages, small children are employed. Then what about coal mines? Such a dangerous place. Here also, when they go deep into the mines, they find some narrow passages where adults or elderly people cannot pass through the passages. So for that, they have employed small children. But is it safe for them? No, it was very dangerous. Sometimes even explosions happened in coal mines to break the rocks and all, isn't it? Then what kind of work did young children, like at the age of 15, 16 and all, what kind of work was given to these people? Younger children worked as trappers who opened and shut doors as the coal wagons traveled through mines or carried heavy loads of coal on their backs on as coal barriers. So this is a wagon. Wagon is which carries the loads, right? These wagons, when they are moved from one place, like when they are coming up in the lift and all, the young people are there as trappers. That means they had to open and shut down the gates of the wagons, right? And not only that, even they used to carry the loads on their backs. Okay? So did you understand about the working conditions of workers in the factories. Now here is an activity for you. Mention two important industrialization effects on women and children's life, and who invented spinning jenny. Okay, I think you will answer these questions. Now here we come to the end of the last part of this chapter, that is industrialization in Germany and France. Can you locate Germany and France here? Yes, here the green one is France and the orange one is Germany, and above this area is United Kingdom. Okay. Industrialization in Germany and France. Industrialization started in both Germany and France with the introduction of railways in 1830s. Railways increased trade, communication and economic growth. By 1850 CE, various German states had constructed half as many railways as Britain and twice as many as France. So how did industrialization start in Germany and France? With the invention of railways, right? Railways, that is locomotive. And when was it introduced? In 1830s. So with the help of railways, it could increase trade, communication and economic growth. What is economic growth? It is increase in the income. Okay. And by 1850, various German states, they had doubled France income, and also it introduced more railway networks as in Britain. And industrialization was possible in Germany with the help of KRUPP. KRUPP family has invented many things. So because of the inventions made by KRUPP in Germany, they could industrialize fast than France. Let us see the inventions here. The KRUPP family established what was going to become the world's largest arms factory. What is arms factory? Arms are nothing but weapons like guns, missiles and all. So these were very useful in the military, right? That time there were a lot of wars going on. So KRUPP has invented the arms factory. The factory specialized in field gun manufacture, and by 1887 it supplied arms to 46 different countries. During World War I, the KRUPP factories made guns for the German artillery, that means missiles. So what did KRUPP family invent? They have invented the weapons, that is arms factory, which were the most important thing during the wars, isn't it? So with this, military power has increased in Germany, and it has also defeated France in World War. So you can see the factory here. This is a factory of arms and weapons or ammunitions, right? And this is a invention of KRUPP. What it is a loaded cannon, and it was made in Germany by KRUPP. What did Prussia exploit? See, what was famous or abundant in Britain? Iron and coal ores. So even Prussia means Germany, other name for Germany. Prussia exploited its rich coal fields and iron deposits in order to create a flourishing steel industry. So this is iron and this is coal. These were exploited by Germans. Okay, with this they could set up more industries like steel industry. Establishments of KRUPP. Alfred Krupp had established a small iron foundry at Essen in 1810 CE. By 1870 CE, Krupp Essen had been transformed into a giant company with its railway locomotive and armaments production. So look at the image here. This is a foundry made by KRUPP. Okay, what is foundry? It is the place where machines are made. So that was today's session. Let's have a quick recapitulation of what we have discussed till now. We have learnt about Why Britain? Technological developments in coal and iron, spinning and weaving, transportation, steam power, competition, technological changes and workers, industrialization in Germany and France. Here is the evaluation for you. What were the relative advantages of canal and railway transportation? Locate the places where iron and textile industries are mainly concentrated in England. For better understanding of the concept, solve the worksheets. Please visit the official website of SIET to solve the worksheets. With this, we come to the end of our chapter, that is Industrialization and Social Change. Hope the session was interesting for you and you have understood the lesson very well. Thank you so much.